Our focus for this video is on acceleration, one of the 3 new quantities in our Chapter 2 about one-dimensional motion. We'll start off with the definition of acceleration. Acceleration is defined as being the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Now, that definition should look familiar to you because it's very similar to the definition for velocity. Velocity is the rate of change of position with respect to time. When you think about that, that means that you should be able to come up with the equation based on what we talked about in class. When you see rate of change of something with respect to time, that means that the equation has a fraction in it with time in the denominator and the change in that something in the numerator. Here we see our equation for acceleration. The symbol A is used for acceleration, which should make some sense. And we see that it's the change in velocity over the change in time. Remember, we calculate the change in something by doing the final of that value minus the initial of that value. One other important fact about acceleration is its units. Now, to know its units, we're going to look at the equation. We're going to kind of guess on some units first before I give them to you. So what are the units for velocity? If you answered meters per second, you are correct. What about the units for for time? If you answered seconds, you are correct. I want you to pause the video for a second and see if you can figure out what we could do with meters per second over seconds to kind of simplify that. If you came up with the unit of meters per second squared, you're correct. Meters per second is otherwise known as meters per second squared. One last fact about acceleration is that there are 2 types. Just like velocity, acceleration has an average acceleration or instantaneous acceleration. And once again, those words mean the same thing. That average is the acceleration over a time period, let's say from 1 to 3 seconds, and instantaneous is the acceleration at a given point in time, like 2 seconds. In honors physics, we typically only deal with constant accelerations, which means that the average and instantaneous values would be the same. In class, we'll go over exactly how to use this equation and talk a little bit more about the meaning of positive and negative signs with acceleration.